Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a fascinating bit of English grammar, mixed conditionals.
Uh-huh.
Now, you probably know the basic ones, right? Zero, first, second, third conditionals. We hear those a lot.
Yeah, those are the standard building blocks.
But we're going a step further today. What happens when you actually sort of blend those structures in just one sentence?
Exactly. That's where mixed conditionals come in. Uh, think about this one. If we had downloaded the directions before we lost our signal, we wouldn't be lost.
Okay.
See how that first part, if we download, that's past perfect. That's like the third conditional, talking about something unreal in the past.
Right, something that didn't happen.
Precisely. Then the second part, we wouldn't be lost. Well, that's structured like the second conditional. It describes the situation now that's also unreal because of that past thing.
Ah, okay. So past action affecting the present unreal situation. It sounds maybe a little complicated.
It can seem that way initially, yeah. But honestly, once you get the hang of it, it's incredibly useful. By the end of this deep dive, you'll hopefully see why we use them and how they let you express things more precisely, especially how the past influences, right
Yeah,
now.
very good. So the plan is quick recap of the basic four, then dive into why mixed ones are useful and look at specific reasons and structures.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
Let's kick things off with that quick refresher. Zero conditional first.
right. Zero. That's the simple one, isn't it? For things that are always true, like facts or routines.
Exactly. Like you heat ice, it melts.
Mm-hmm.
Present tense, just stating a fact.
Simple enough. Then first conditional.
First conditional moves into likely or, possible situations, usually present or future things. Think promises, maybe warnings.
Like, if you cook dinner tonight, I will do the dishes. Still hoping for that one.
Huh, yeah. It's a real possibility, or at least presented as one.
Okay. Then second conditional gets more hypothetical.
Yeah, definitely. Second conditional is for unlikely, unreal, sometimes impossible situations, either now or in the future. It's often where we talk about wishes, like alternate realities.
Okay, give me an example.
How about if I had 1 extra hour in the day, I would spend my time painting.
Right, but you can't just get an extra hour, so it's unreal.
Exactly. It's purely hypothetical.
And that leaves the third conditional. That's the past one, right?
That's the one. Third conditional looks back at an unreal past. Things that didn't happen, but we're imagining if they had.
Right.
Often used for regrets.
Ah, regrets. Like, if you had told me you needed help, I would have canceled my trip.
Perfect. You're imagining a completely different past action and its different past result.
Okay, so those are the basics. Each seems to stick mostly to one time frame, kind of. Past, present, future.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
First and second look present or future-ish. Third looks back.
But life isn't always that neat, is it? Sometimes the past directly affects how we imagine the present or future could be different. And that's where the mixed ones come in. So what's the big advantage? Why mix them?
Well, the real beauty of mixed conditionals is they let you explicitly connect a past event or maybe a past decision to how things are now or how they might be in the future, but in a hypothetical way.
So they bridge the time gap.
Exactly. They build that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing how an unreal past situation could hypothetically lead to a different present or future. It's about showing that cross-time consequence.
Okay, can we make that more concrete? Maybe with a scenario?
Sure. Let's use that road trip idea again. Maybe driving somewhere remote, cell signals dodgy, like Big Sur or somewhere.
Okay, yeah, I can picture that.
So using a second conditional, you might say, if we had a good signal right now, we could download the directions. That's purely about the present unreal situation, right?
Right. No signal now, so can't download now.
Uh-huh. And a third conditional might look back. Yesterday, if we had downloaded our directions before losing the signal, we wouldn't have gotten lost.
Oh, it's all past.
Past action, past result.
Okay, past regret. Got it.
But the mixed conditional pulls it together. If we had downloaded the directions before losing our signal, we wouldn't be lost right now.
Ah, okay, I see it. The past failure to download.
Leads directly to the present state of being lost. But it's all hypothetical because, well, you didn't download them and you were lost. It connects that past if only to the present what if.
That makes a lot of sense. So how do we actually build these sentences? What's the structure?
Okay, for this common type unreal past affecting unreal present or future, there are mainly two structures we use. The first one is probably the most frequent.
Lay it on me.
It goes, if plus past perfect. That's the third conditional bit in the if clause.
Okay, if plus had plus past participle.
Right, and then the main clause uses would plus base form of the verb, which is the structure from the second conditional.
So If plus had plus past participle, comma, would plus base verb.
You got it.
Can we have an example of just that
Yeah,
structure?
absolutely. If I had packed my sunscreen, I wouldn't have a sunburn right now.
Okay. Past unreal action. Didn't pack sunscreen. Present unreal result. Wouldn't have a sunburn. Simple.
Exactly. It links that past oversight to a different present reality.
Okay, I'm with you. What was the second structure you mentioned?
Very similar start, if plus past perfect. But the main clause changes slightly, often to emphasize something ongoing now or in the near future. It uses would plus be plus the ing form of the verb.
Would plus be plus ing. Okay, how does that change the meaning?
It often highlights a continuous state or activity in the present or future that's the unreal result of the past condition.
Okay. Can you paint a picture for that one
For
too?
sure. Let's say a friend turned down a really good job offer a while back, one that involved moving.
Okay.
You could say, if you had accepted that job offer, you would be packing your apartment right now. Or maybe you would be getting ready to move next week.
I see. The ing makes it feel more active or ongoing in the present or near future.
Exactly. It emphasizes that continuous, unreal situation resulting from the past decision.
These examples are really helping. Maybe just a couple more to really solidify it. Different scenarios.
No problem. How about if I'd learned French as a kid, I would have a perfect French accent right now. Unreal past, unreal present ability.
Okay.
Or if she hadn't received that scholarship, she wouldn't be going to Harvard right now. Unreal past event, unreal present continuous action.
Right. Using that second structure.
One more. If I hadn't spent all my bonus right away, I would have enough money saved to go to New York City with you next month. Unreal past action, unreal future possibility.
Got it. And maybe one comparing, like,
Okay, imagine someone running a marathon feeling surprisingly good. They might think, if I hadn't trained so much, this would feel much harder right now, but I feel great. Contrasting the unreal past with the unreal present feeling.
That's a good one. It really shows the contrast clearly. And I assume, like other conditionals, you can flip the clauses around.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have this sunburn right now if I had remembered to pack my sunscreen. Same meaning, just different emphasis.
Great. Okay, so structure seems clear. Now, let's get into the why. You said there were three main reasons we reached for this type of mixed conditional. What's the first big one?
The first key reason is really about expressing those missed opportunities or past regrets, but specifically highlighting how they impact the present or the future.
So it's not just regretting the past, like the third conditional.
Exactly. The third conditional stops in the past. If I had invested, I would have made money then. The mixed conditional draws a line from that past action or inaction right up to now.
Can you give an example of that connection?
Sure. She would be able to pay off her house right now if she had invested in that stock when you told her to.
Okay. Past inaction, not investing, leads to a present consequence not being able to pay off the house now.
Precisely. Or maybe, if my daughter hadn't missed her flight yesterday, I wouldn't need to spend extra money on a new ticket today. Past event, present financial impact.
It really highlights that cause and effect across time.
It does. One more. If I had pursued art when I was younger, I would probably be a better artist now. Past inaction, current hypothetical state.
It feels quite reflective, doesn't it? Comparing what is with what might have been because of a past choice.
Definitely. And notice the subtle difference compared to, say, a second conditional. Second conditional. If I spoke Spanish now, I wouldn't need a translator. That's just about the present hypothetical.
Right.
But the mixed conditional. If I learned Spanish in the past, I wouldn't need a translator now. That specifically points the finger at a past lack of action as the reason for the current situation.
That's a really useful distinction. It makes you think, doesn't it, about past decisions.
It does. And maybe for you listening, think about it. Are there past choices or regrets that still echo today? You could try finishing sentences like, if I had studied, I would. Or, if I had pursued, I wouldn't.
That's a good exercise. Makes it personal.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the second key reason to use these?
The second big use is for sharing, well, assumptions about how the present or future might be different, based on something you assume about the past.
Assumptions. So not necessarily facts.
Not always known facts, no. It's more like speculation or inference. Imagine a presenter is really struggling with an easy question.
Okay.
You might think to yourself, if she had done her research properly, she wouldn't be struggling like this right now.
So you're assuming she didn't do the research and that's why she's struggling now.
Exactly. You're linking a presumed past action, or lack of one, to a present observation. It's an inference. Or maybe you hear about a coworker who missed a meeting where the manager said something awful.
Right.
You might say, wow, Melissa would be furious if she had heard the manager speak that way. You're assuming her reaction now based on a hypothetical past event.
Okay, so it's a way to express these what-if scenarios based on guesses about the past affecting the present.
You got it. It allows for that kind of educated guessing about cause and effect across time.
Makes sense. So, missed opportunities and regrets, assumptions. What's the third main reason?
The third one is quite practical, actually. It's using mixed conditionals to offer advice or, perhaps more often, feedback, sometimes in a slightly gentler, more indirect way.
How does grammar help give gentle feedback? That sounds interesting.
Well, think about a team situation. Maybe someone asks for help at the very last minute, causing chaos before a deadline.
Yeah, been there.
Instead of saying, you should have told us way earlier, which can sound a bit blunt,
Right, a bit accusatory.
you could say something like, if I had been informed earlier when this issue first came up, our team would be better prepared to handle this request right now.
Ah, okay. So you're still pointing out the problem, the late notice, but you're focusing on the consequence for the team now.
Exactly. It links the past lack of communication to the present stress, implicitly suggesting that earlier communication would have led to a better present outcome. It serves as feedback and advice for next time.
That's quite diplomatic, actually.
It can be. Or imagine training someone new at, say, a doctor's office, and a frustrated patient is complaining because they have to fill out forms they could have done online.
Okay.
The trainer might explain to the trainee later, see, if she had completed the forms online beforehand, she would be with the doctor right now, and we would avoid these uncomfortable situations.
Right. Explaining the why behind the online forms by showing the negative present consequence of not doing it. It's advice wrapped in an explanation.
Precisely.
Hey.
It illustrates the benefit of the desired past action by highlighting the negative present reality caused by the actual past action.
So it's a subtle way to guide or correct by showing the hypothetical positive present that could have been.
Exactly right. So those are the three big areas. Talking about regrets and missed opportunities with present impact, making assumptions about how the past affects the present, and giving advice or feedback indirectly.
Okay, let's just quickly recap then. This specific kind of mixed conditional about if plus past perfect, then would plus base verb or would plus be plus ing. Its main job is to connect an unreal past situation with its unreal effect on the present or maybe the near future.
Spot on. Bridging that gap between a past what if and a present or future what might be.
And we use it mainly for those three things: regrets and missed chances affecting now, making assumptions, and offering advice or feedback.
You've got it. It really adds nuance, allowing us to express complex relationships between different points in time.
It definitely feels like a more sophisticated way to talk about cause and effect when things didn't actually happen that way.
It is. And maybe, as a final thought for everyone listening,
Yep.
think about one specific decision you made in the past. Just one.
Okay.
And then just ponder. How would your life be different now if you had made a different choice back then? Understanding these structures really gives you the tools to articulate those kinds of complex thoughts about past, present, and future.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a potentially tricky bit of English grammar, the third conditional. You've probably heard us for talking about impossible or unreal situations in the past, which sounds a bit academic, maybe?
It can, yeah. What does that really mean day to day? Why bother with something that, well, didn't happen?
Exactly. So our mission today is to dig into why the third conditional is actually useful in real English conversations.
Right, and hopefully make it easier for you to start using it accurately. We want it to, click.
Yeah, by the end of this deep dive, you should have a much clearer idea of its purpose and how to sort of slot it into your own English.
So we're looking at two main things. Why do we really use it?
And how can you use it right?
Okay. So that traditional explanation, unreal, impossible past stuff, it's not wrong, but maybe not the most practical starting point.
Right. How does it actually work in conversation?
Well, I think there are two really key ways it comes up naturally. The first big one is about expressing regret.
Regret. Okay, like things we wish we could change from the past.
Precisely. Choices we made, things that happened, stuff we look back on and think, oh, if only, like a terrible haircut you got years ago.
Uh-huh. Don't remind me. Or maybe eating way too much over the holidays, that kind of thing.
Yes, that's a perfect example. Think about this sentence. If I hadn't eaten so much over the holidays, I wouldn't have been sick for days.
Okay, so the reality was Lots of food, followed by feeling rough.
Mm-hmm.
And this sentence imagines the opposite past, less food, no sickness. It really captures that feeling of, I wish I hadn't done that.
Exactly. It frames that wish, that alternative past.
Mm.
It highlights the consequence of the actual action.
Makes sense.
Here's another one, maybe relatable for home decorators. If I had known how dark this paint color would look on my walls, I wouldn't have selected it.
Oh, yes. Been there. The little paint chip looks so different.
Right.
So the reality is the room's too dark, maybe feels like a cave. And the sentence says, I regret picking this color. It points right at the bad choice.
It does. It links the unwanted result directly to the past decision. One more on regret. If I had done a bit more research, I would have realized this hotel had terrible reviews.
Ah, the dreaded holiday disappointment. So, reality. Bad hotel experience.
Probably, yeah.
And the sentence expresses regret about skipping the research step. It implies doing that research would have saved them from the bad hotel.
Precisely. It's that hindsight thing, looking back and seeing the connection between an action or lack of action and the outcome.
So it's like our brain replaying the past and saying, if this had been different, then that would have been better.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, related to looking back, but slightly different, the third conditional is also really useful for, let's say, criticizing past choices or actions, often someone else's.
Ah, okay. So not just my own regrets, but maybe pointing out where someone else went wrong, like arguing about a decision later.
Exactly. Or, that classic situation where someone takes a wrong turn driving and now you're late.
Right.
The third conditional lets you comment on that past action and its negative result, sometimes a bit more. Indirectly, perhaps.
Okay, how does that work? Give me an example.
Sure. How about this? She would have gotten the job promotion if she had better prepared for the interview.
Interesting. Notice the structure is flipped there. Starts with the result, or lack of result, would have gotten the job.
Yeah, you can swap the clauses.
And then it gives the if part, if she had better prepared. It's not the speaker's regret, but it definitely sounds like criticism of her preparation.
You got it. It suggests the lack of preparation is why she didn't get the promotion. It implies a cause and effect that reflects badly on the preparation.
Right. Less direct than saying, you didn't prepare well enough, but the meaning's clear.
Exactly. Here's another one, maybe from a sports context. If you hadn't missed that catch, we would have won the game.
Oof. Yeah, that one stings a bit. It's definitely expressing regret about losing, but it puts the blame squarely on the missed catch.
It does. It mixes that regret with a clear criticism of the specific action seen as the cause of failure.
Okay.
And one more. We wouldn't have been late to the meeting if you had followed my directions.
Okay, pretty direct criticism there, even using the conditional. It clearly says the lateness was because the directions weren't followed.
Precisely. So whether it's looking back at our own choices with regret or evaluating someone else's actions, critically, this structure is super useful for exploring those what-if past scenarios.
Okay, that clarifies the why quite a bit. Regret and criticism, two big uses. So let's nail down the how, the grammar bit.
Right. Let's break it down. Don't worry, it's logical. The basic recipe is if plus past perfect, then would or wouldn't have plus past participle.
Okay, past perfect, that's had, plus the main verb's past participle form, right?
Exactly. Had eaten, had known, had done. And a past participle, that's just the third form you see in verb lists. Eat, ate, eaten, go, went, gone.
Right. Eaten, gone, prepared, missed, followed. We need that third form after had.
And also after would have or wouldn't have. So would have realized, wouldn't have been, would have gotten. You need that third form in both halves of the sentence.
Got it. And for regular verbs, that past participle often just ends in ed, like prepare, prepared, prepared, select, selected, selected.
That makes it a bit easier for those, yeah.
Mm.
And like we saw in that job promotion example, you can flip the order.
Right. She would have gotten the job first, then, if she had better prepared. Same meaning.
Exactly the same meaning. The key thing, though, beyond just knowing the rule,
is actually using it.
Yes, actively using it. Practice saying these sentences out loud. Think about real situations. It helps build that muscle memory, that automaticity.
So you don't have to stop and think through the whole formula every single time.
Right. It starts to feel more natural, more intuitive, which is the goal for fluent communication, isn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, so quick recap. Third conditional. Super useful for expressing regret about our own past.
Looking back and wishing things were different.
And also for commenting on or criticizing someone else's past actions and their outcomes.
Exactly. Those are the two core functions in everyday conversation.
So for everyone listening, Maybe take a second now to think about your own past, a regret you have, perhaps.
Or a time when someone else's decision had a knock-on effect you remember.
And here's the challenge. Try forming your own third conditional sentence about it. Use that structure. If plus had plus past participle.
Would have or wouldn't have plus past participle. Give it a go.
Yeah, and if you want some practice or feedback, you could head over to the Speak Confident English website. We'll link to the related lesson. Or if you're on YouTube, drop your example sentence in the comments.
It's always helpful to see other examples and try it yourself.
Definitely.
And maybe a final thought as you're reflecting on these past what-ifs. How much do these reflections actually shape our future choices? Does thinking about what would have happened if actually help us learn from regrets or mistakes?
That's a good question. Does imagining the alternative past actually change how we act next time? Something to ponder.